we have to see about the money and the restrictions and everything.
Yeah, it's hard to figure it out. It's hard to know what the right choice is. Excuse me. Giacomo, sto facendo una lezione, ci sentiamo più tardi o domani, va bene? Ok, ciao.
Anche qui siamo in un momento in realtà trio Italia.
Sorry, what's that?
Trio Italia, sì. Ah sì, siamo solo noi tre per ora.
Stavo dicendo che in realtà potremmo parlare italiano finché siamo noi tre.
Io sono tornata a casa mia, finalmente.
Te lo sto per dire, infatti.
Dove eri?
Ah, ero a Forlimpopoli dal mio amoroso.
Ah, ok.
A Forlì, vicino all'area sismica.
Ah.
Sì, invece adesso sono riuscita a tornare a Rimini dopo 3 mesi. Strano.
Immagino. La prima volta che sei da sola da un po'.
Sì, dopo 3 mesi sono da sola per la prima volta, 1 settimana che sono tornata a casa, è strano. Brindo a voi.
Alla vostra.
Alla vostra. Tu Marco, stai bene?
Io sto bene. Sto facendo tutte le lezioni.
Hey Mickey.
A giugno un paio di scuole. Poi vediamo.
Hey Mickey, I don't know if you can hear us. Your camera's off and your microphone seems to be off too. Mickey, are you with us or no? She might be having a problem with her
Not yet.
equipment. We'll see. So do you guys already know this song? I was kind of concerned because a lot of people already know it, but I'm not sure if you guys already know it or not.
I actually don't know it so well, so and I didn't have a chance to listen to it again.
Okay.
So.
But you've heard it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know it already, Marco?
Damn the Dream?
Yeah.
I learned it by, not by ear, like 8 or 9 years ago, and I'm not playing that piece from 4 years, I think.
Okay.
So I'm not that sure about the chords.
Okay, cool. Well, then it'll be kind of like a slightly less fresh first time.
Vabbè, mi farai sentire. Oddio.
What's that?
Ah, sorry, that was my phone.
That's okay.
It's okay. Sorry.
I'm just gonna wait for another few minutes because I think at least maybe 1 or 2 other people are planning on coming. Maybe Mickey will come back.
Yeah, Simone is coming too.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we are a few.
Yeah, I have a bad connection tonight.
Yeah? Are you on like your cell phone connection or you have just like bad ADSL or something like that?
No, I'm on my Wi-Fi as usual, but I don't know why.
Okay.
It's bad. Hope it's getting better.
One thing I was thinking about doing for next week is maybe picking a tune for the advanced party and telling everybody to, hey Nicolo, having everybody like transcribe as much as they can by themselves, and then we can come and maybe people will already have most of it done. And we could that way maybe look at more than one person.
Cool.
That might be kind of an interesting opportunity. Hey Nicolo.
Yeah.
Oh, you got on. You guys are like kind of teaming up. Welcome.
Hi.
So Sara, should we wait for Simone or do you think we should just start?
I've sent him a message and
okay.
I think he's come in, but he should be connecting in any time now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Why don't we listen through, in the meantime, why don't we listen through to a few versions? I have one that I picked out that I think would be good for us to transcribe because it's very clear. But we could listen to like 1 or 2 other versions first.
Yeah, for sure.
And this will also be like kind of a cool opportunity, at least just to start to figure out like how the things are laid out. And hi, Simone. And then also maybe you'll notice some things like if somebody does any reharmonizations or things like that, you might notice like some of the differences. So
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and share my audio. I'm sure, as usual, Zoom's going to turn my voice down and the audio up, but I'll just have to deal with it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This one is probably one that you're all familiar with. You hear it? You guys hear it?
Darn that dream I dream each night. You say you love me and you hold me tight. But when I awake, you're out of sight. Oh, darn that dream. Darn your lips, darn your eyes. They lift me high above the starry skies. Then I tumble out of paradise. Oh, darn that dream. Darn this one-track mind of mine. It can't understand that you don't care. Just to change the mood I'm in, I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Darn that dream, and bless it too. Without that dream, I never would have you. But it haunts me and it won't come true. Oh, darn that dream.
So for you, those of you that weren't here before, we're just going to listen to a few different versions and then we're going to focus on one. So if you guys want, you can start to take down like form and things like that. And maybe get an idea of like any modulations or things. But we haven't listed the version that I want to use as our reference version yet. So I'll find a different one. Let's check out. That was Miles Davis, by the way. I imagine most of you already know that. That's from the Birth of the Cool recording. And this is a Hank Mobley version. Out of curiosity, I just thought of this. Maybe this is not a great idea, but I was thinking about listening to just constantly listening to one version after another and seeing what we get from doing that. What do you guys think about that idea? Would it be better to just focus on one version like we usually do? Opinions? No opinions?
Why not?
I'm open.
Do you guys want to give that a shot? I think it could be a cool, because we talked about this on when we did the like comparison of My Shining Hour. We talked about all these different versions and also the idea of like a simplified version. So this might be kind of a cool way to say, okay, what are the absolutely indispensable things? What are the things we can't do without if we want to have Darn That Dream? And then we can kind of like hang on to those and think about the various approaches. Let's try it. We'll kind of keep going through these. And I'm just going to play chorus after, like I'll just kind of keep playing like the first choruses. We'll go through several of them and see how far we get like this. Okay, here we go. Everybody can hear everything okay, right? Is the volumes okay?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Do you guys recognize who that is? Just out of curiosity.
No.
No? Anybody have any idea? Man, you guys need a lot more than transcription parties. That's Sonny Rollins. But maybe that's just because I'm a saxophone player, but it's so like recognizable, But one thing I wanted to just say really quickly, it was interesting to me how the version before that was the Hank Mobley version, and that was Paul Chambers on bass. And it was interesting to me to hear how many like liberties he took with the bass notes. And that was really kind of clear. Like, it's pretty clear to me that he was making stuff up. He was kind of improvising and deciding when he wanted to actually play the bass notes of the chords and when he wanted to play other stuff. And in this one, there's a lot of kind of like dancing rhythmically between this Nils Henning Ørsted Pedersen on the bass and Alan Dawson on drums. This trio. I want to listen to that one again, actually, just because I think it's really interesting how they're like stretching things. Here we go. Okay, we'll move on to a different version here. If this is getting really frustrating for you guys, tell me at some point. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of keep skipping through because I think it could be kind of fun. So.
Darn that dream I dream each night. You say you love me and you hold me tight, but when I awake you're out of sight. Oh darn, darn that dream. Darn your lips and darn your eyes. They lift me high, 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 high above the moonlit skies. Then I tumble out of paradise. Oh darn that dream. That one-track mind of mine, it can't understand that you don't care just to change the mood I'm in. I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Darn that dream, and bless it too. Without that dream, I never would have you. But it haunts me, and it won't come true. Darn that dream. Darn that dream I dream each night. You say you love me and you hold me tight, but when I awake you're out of sight. Oh darn, darn that dream. Darn your lips and darn your eyes. They lift me high, 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 high above the moonlit skies. Then I tumble out of paradise. Oh darn that dream. That one-track mind of mine, it can't understand that you don't care just to change the mood I'm in. I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Darn that dream, and bless it too. Without that dream, I never would have you. But it haunts me, and it won't come true. Darn that dream.
How are you guys doing? Is this, are you pretty, is this kind of like frustrating or is it interesting?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
More
interesting.
opinions? You want to keep going like this or should we focus in on one?
I like to keep on going like this.
You guys, like, everybody chime in, please, because I don't want to like kind of make people frustrated and then they don't want to come to the parties anymore.
No, it's cool. I think that we can
like,
hear like the tonal areas, but it's cool because we hear a lot of substitutions and different basses.
Yeah, I think this is like actually like a really realistic. Also, the one thing that I'm noticing now, because I haven't actually done this directly with this song, and this is a great one because it has so many options, right? Which is really clear from each of these, I think. Is that sometimes I can hear that it seems like they didn't actually decide before the song. They actually had to figure it out on the go, you know? Like for this one, I think, let's listen to this one again, just the beginning of it. I'm gonna leave my mic open, I'm gonna comment. I think I heard a couple spots where like the bass player and the piano player don't do the same thing, and then they have to figure out how to make it work. So let's listen to this again really quick.
2, 3, 4.
So there, that was surprised. The bass player was surprised there. I think that's why he doesn't play on 1. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, also on bar 3, he's like playing after the piano.
Yeah, he's waiting and figuring it out. Let's see who's playing on this.
Yeah.
Kenny Dorham on piano, Nils Henning Ørsted Pedersen on bass. Yeah, he was on so many of these like on so many of these records made by like live shows made by like American artists, made under the name of American artists, I think in Europe in like the 60s and 70s. He's on so many of them, and Alex Reel on drums. So let's listen to that again. But yeah, it's like definitely like he laid out and waited to see what was going to happen, and then he heard it. He's like, oh, okay, I know what that is, you know. But that's like, I think that's like the super advanced level of like the transcription parties, when you actually do the transcription party on stage in front of an audience.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The second time, he knows what's coming and he does it right away. That's exactly what, I think that's exactly what's happening here. He was like, well, what is he going to do there? Is he going to do this or is he going to do that? And then he laid out the first chorus because they didn't know, they didn't plan it ahead. And then when he heard the piano player, when he heard Kenny Dorham, he put it down. Then he said, okay, now I know what that is. And who knows what that is? Does anybody know what that is?
I guess the sharp 4.
Okay. I guess so too. Good ear. So that's the thing, and some of the other versions we didn't have that. So let's move on to listen to. Let's see what else I can find here. I know there's some Chet Baker versions of this. So maybe I just wanted to take a little like second to look at that one closely, just because that was an example of this happening in real time on a live show. But now maybe how about if we listen to each version like twice and then we move on, and if we want we kind of stick to one version. Then eventually we'll get to the one that I was thinking of using, and we can kind of focus on that and then try to get like something kind of decipherable. But I think for now everybody can get the basic skeleton together from listening to these different versions. Oops.
Dawn that dream, I dream each night. You say you love me and you hold me tight, but when I awake, you're out of sight. Oh, dawn that dream, dawn your lips and dawn your eyes. They lift me high above the moonlit skies. Then I tumble out of paradise. Oh, dawn that dream, dawn that one track mind of mine. It can't understand that you don't care. Just to change the mood I'm in, I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Dawn that dream, and bless it too. Without that dream, I never would have you. But it haunts me and it won't come true. Oh, dawn that dream.
These days, people are...
Dawn that dream, I dream each night. You say you love me and you hold me tight, but when I awake, you're out of sight. Oh, dawn that dream, dawn your lips and dawn your eyes. They lift me high above the moonlit skies. Then I tumble out of paradise. Oh, dawn that dream, dawn that one track mind that you don't care just to change the mood I'm in. I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Darn that dream and bless it too. Without that dream, I never would have you. But it haunts me and it won't come true. Oh, darn that dream.
Do you guys know who that was? Anybody have a guess who that is? Nobody has any idea.
Maybe Monk.
Maybe Monk. I would say definitely monk. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely monk. And one thing I found interesting about that was I was expecting it to be full of like substitutions and stuff, and it's really not. It's mostly pretty simple, and basically he does like a few of his little characteristic things. I think it's mostly about like the voicings and the way he chooses like where to place things rhythmically that makes it interesting. So, okay, let's see. Why don't we move on to the one I was thinking about, and we'll kind of focus in on it, because I think most of you have had a chance now to understand more or less like the areas that it goes through and the important things. And now we can focus on one and start to actually transcribe it in detail. So let me see. Here we go. So this is the one I picked as kind of our reference. First of all, because I think it's pretty easy to transcribe. We can hear the bass notes really well, and they don't change things much from from section to section. And also because it's just an interesting version. This is Kenny Dorham on trumpet. And let's see if they've listed who he's playing with. Walter Bishop Jr. on piano, Percy Heath on bass, and Kenny Clark on drums. So this is pretty classic. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there might be a spot or two here where it's a little bit hairy between bass and piano as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just play it through from the start a couple more times, and we'll listen through it and start to, now you guys can start to transcribe, because this is going to be the version that we're going to use. So. Okay. How's everybody doing? I imagine everybody's got the form. Has anybody finished it mostly?
Mostly, but I'm not sure about certain bars.
Okay. Does anybody not have really much of anything at all? Everybody's got something, I guess. Okay, is the song in major or minor? Go ahead and answer.
Major.
Major. What do you guys think? Everybody agree? Kind of like beginner. I'm gonna have to start to think of harder questions for the advanced courses. Okay, we all agree this is in major. Okay. Let's see. And the form. I mean, you guys all know this.
AABA.
Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've written it like this for now, just I don't feel like reading everything out. Okay. Where's the first one chord?
Bar 1,
Where in bar 1?
beginning.
Does anybody have a different idea? Everybody agree with Miki?
I
Agree.
agree.
Agree. Okay. I mean, do most of you have most of the A figured out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Where's the next one chord? Next question. We have a one chord at the
I think
beginning of
it's
bar 1.
in the beginning of.
In the beginning
Yeah,
of?
I think it's again in bar 1 of
Okay.
the next A.
Okay. How about besides that one? So there's no more one chords in the first A section. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure, but I think so.
What do you guys think? Would you have people agreeing, disagreeing, or not sure? Maybe that's like not sure. I'm guessing that the silence means not sure. Is that right?
I think there's definitely no other major one anywhere else. So
Anywhere
yeah.
else? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was an interesting like qualification. I wonder what that means. Okay, why don't we do this? Let's listen to the A section a few times now. Do you guys want to listen to the A section, or is it good to listen to the whole song? That might be a more interesting kind of like option. It makes it a little bit more realistic, like trying to actually figure it out. But I'm not sure if it feels like it'd be more efficient for you to just listen to one section now. What do you guys think? You want to listen to the whole song, or you want to listen to just the A section?
I prefer just the A.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody agree? Okay. So tonight, just Sada, Jane, and Marco are talking. Everybody else is just going to lurk. Here we go. Just the A section. I'll loop the 2A section. How's everybody doing? I'm kind of concerned that maybe this is a little bit difficult for some of you. I'm not sure. How are you feeling? Is anybody pretty stuck?
No.
No, everybody's doing okay. Okay, good, great. Does any? How are you guys doing with the A section? Do you guys have most of the A section done? Does anybody not have very much? Is still missing a lot of stuff? Why don't we talk about some of the? Why don't we start to talk about some of the chords then? Do you guys want to hear it another time or two? Or are you cool? Should we start to talk about it?
Maybe could we hear this one more time?
Okay, we'll listen to it one more time. Here we go. Okay, just one little interesting thing. There's I think this is also an example of them not having really talked about what they're going to do before they recorded it, because there's one really obvious fail, which I think is actually pretty funny. And I'm not sure if anybody else heard that, but it's at the end of the first A section. So let's start to talk through it. Let's see, what's the, does it mostly stay in one, or does it move around a lot here?
I don't think
I think it stays in one, around one.
Mostly stays in one. You guys think? Everybody agree?
I don't think it stays in one for the way. It sort of goes around a bit.
Okay. Does it move far away from one or no?
Not far.
Okay. So there's some little modulations, but it's not really anything drastically different.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant to.
Yeah. Okay. I think that probably we can all agree on that. Okay. So let's talk about where does it there's kind of an important modulation, a pretty common modulation that happens at a certain point. Does anybody? I imagine you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm not sure. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
No.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
maybe bar 3.
Yeah, bar 3. That's kind of what I was talking about. Do you guys know? Does anybody not know what happens in bar 3? Is somebody making tea? I think I hear a tea kettle. No? Maybe I'm making that up. Do you guys know what happens in bar 3 or no? Is Sada Daniel, does anybody else have an idea what happens in bar 3?
Does the 5 become minor? I don't know if I can think.
What do you think, Sada Jane?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, you're not sure what happens. Okay, I thought you knew what happens. Okay.
Well, I'm sure something happens, but I'm a little bit confused.
Okay.
At the moment, yeah.
Does anybody feel like they know what happens in bar 3? Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we figure out where there's some things that we do know? Okay. Let's go back to talking about where the ones are. Sada Jane said there's no more major ones in the A section besides the one that we already talked about at the beginning of the first bar. Do you guys agree or do you disagree with her?
I agree.
Yeah, me too.
Everybody agrees.
In the end of the second day though.
Miki doesn't agree.
in the end of the second time.
Okay, so at the end of the second A, you're saying there's a 1. What do you
Yeah.
think about that, Sada Jane, and anybody else that agreed with?
Yeah. Second A.
So you do think that there's a
At the
major,
end.
there's a 1 at the end of the second A. Okay, where is it then?
Yeah.
Where is the 1?
Bar 8.
Here. This is the second A, right? We're gonna just kind of like, I'm just gonna kind of make a mess out of this, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I think everybody will understand what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put 1 here. I agree, there is a 1 here. Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what about what like? Let's start to do things like like. If there's a 1 here, what do we expect before the 1? We can probably figure out what's in this bar, right?
A 5.
A 5. Okay. Where's the 5?
On beat 3 of bar 7.
What do you guys think? Do you agree?
Yeah.
A 5 dominant, probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about before that? What would we
A 2.
expect? A 2. What kind of a 2?
Minor.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and this is nothing, we haven't gotten to anything particularly surprising yet, right? Let's listen. Let's see. Do you guys know what happens so Sada Jane said there's something interesting happening here. Does everybody agree with her?
Oh wait, I think hold on. Yeah.
You think you figured it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Congratulations.
No.
We haven't listened to it for like 10 minutes now, but awesome. You must have a perfect, like, kind of like, not like a photographic, what would we call that? Like a phonographic memory. You may have figured it out. It certainly isn't out of the question.
Time to process things.
Yeah, of course. I'll tell you one thing. Sada Jane's right. There is something that happens here, and it's important, and it's also something that happens all the time, and we should be starting to get good at recognizing this. Because of the fact that there's some like movement happening in here, it could be a little bit confusing to you. But I think we could listen to it again. Let's try to listen maybe just to the first 4 bars a few times. I'm going to loop the first 4 bars a couple times. And I want you guys to listen and try to figure out where we go. This is like the first important like place that we go to. Okay. So I want you guys to listen and figure out where we're going and how we get there. Okay, here we go. You guys want to hear it some more, or do you guys have it figured it out?
Yeah, I think I've got it now.
Okay. Anybody not sure yet?
I have an idea, but I'm not sure.
Okay, let's listen to it a few more times. What I want you guys to do now is there's some stuff that's diatonic and there's some stuff that's definitely not diatonic. And I want, if you can, try to skip the stuff that's not diatonic. That might help you, okay? It may help you just to think about like diatonic things and what those are going to be like, and try to like just ignore the things that you hear that are not diatonic, okay? Let's try it again. We'll listen to it a few times. You're welcome to ignore my advice and use your own advice if you prefer. I'm just trying to offer some ideas. Here we go. Should mention is that this is immediately there's this spot where the bass player and the piano player they have not decided together what they're going to do. they do some weird shit. It sounds bad, actually, like focusing on this. It's pretty funny. So we'll listen to it a few more times. All right, what do you guys think? Have you figured it out?
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody stuck? I'll take your silence for the idea that everybody's gotten it. Okay, Sarah Jane, where do you think we're going?
I think it's 6 minor.
What do you guys think? Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I agree.
Agree. Here and here, right? We're 6 minor. Okay, I agree. All right. Did you guys figure out what happens in here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the diatonic things that happen. Where is there something diatonic?
Is a two.
What's that?
I think there is a two in the first bit of the second bar.
Here. Okay. What do you guys think? You agree?
Yeah.
Agree.
I agree. Okay. So what kind of a 2 is it going to be?
Minor.
Minor 2. Okay. So if we're in minor 2 and we want to go to minor 6, what are we going to do to get there?
Dominant 3.
Yeah, we could do a dominant 3. Okay. What if we want to make it a little bit more kind of complete?
Yeah,
7 half diminished.
Right. A 7 half diminished, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times a bass player, we might write in, 2 over 1, right? 2 minor over 1. So like 2 minor over 1, then 7 half diminished, and 3 dominant 7 flat 9, and then 6, right? Sounds like we've talked about this a lot. Like the C section of Green Dolphin Street does this. Da 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 2 over 1 7 3 6, and then it's the same kind of formula repeating itself, right? So that would be like a pretty natural way to get through this. Is that what they do? Like a 7 and a 3?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think too.
Agree? Everybody agree?
I think bass player is doing something else.
Yeah, I think Mickey's right. She got it. And what is the bass player doing, Mickey? What do you think he's doing?
I think 4/3.
Okay, I don't think so. I think something else, but let's listen again really quickly and check. Ooh, that's tough to hear. It's pretty kind of crunchy down there. You're right, Mickey. I think you're right. Did you guys hear that?
4 sharp.
What's that?
I think it's 4 sharp, not 4.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a sharp 4. Yeah, that's the weird thing. That's a super weird thing. So here's the thing. The bass player is doing this weird like sharp 4 thing. Good job, Mickey. Sharp 4. I'm not sure what the hell he was thinking there. And then 3. But here's the thing. What's the melody note? Let's listen to it again, and I'm just gonna loop it a few times. I want you guys to figure out what that melody note is. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Just a second. Did you guys figure out what the melody note is?
It's a flat 7.
It's a flat 7. That's right. Yeah. Da. So if we have what we would expect here is this, right? A 7 half diminished with a flat 7 in the melody, which would be kind of weird, right? So I initially thought the bass player was putting a flat 7 here, but Mickey's right. He's putting a sharp 4. And so I think he's thinking of like a sharp 4 dominant chord. I think another option here would be to think of like another option here would be to think of a flat 7 dominant, which would be like the tritone substitution for the 3, right? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
And that would also be a way for us to not create problems with the melody line. So in any case, the bass player here plays a sharp 4. Let's listen to it the second A section and figure out whether he's doing the same thing again. I think they got this part like a little bit cleaner, the second A section. So let's listen to that real Okay, so you guys hear what he's doing here? This is the version I was. So this is when this is why I think I told Mickey I thought you were wrong, because I was thinking of this second A section. Let's listen here. Listen carefully what the bass is doing here. It's a flat 7. He's playing flat 7. And then like a 3. So this is basically like he's playing both like possible roots with this tritone substitution. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
So let's check that with the first A section again. I just want to make sure that. Yeah, I think you're right, Mickey. I think the first time he plays sharp 4 and then 3. And then the second time he plays flat 7 and then 3. So, okay. How about the second half of the first bar? There's some kind of weirder, like chromatic movement there. Who doesn't know what happens here? in the second half of the first bar. Everybody knows.
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay. Do you want to hear it again? Let's listen. Let's loop this a few times. And what I want you to do, let's sing one. We haven't sung any tonight. Sing one for me, please. Let's sing like 1, 2, 5, 1. 1, 2, 5, 1. Right? Okay. Okay. Let's sing up the scale and then back down again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. So
Mickey and Nicole are not singing.
Mickey
I am.
All right. So now Mickey and Nicola. So now you can just sing, just the two of us. Just the two of you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just do.
Okay. We'll pin their video. Right. Go ahead.
7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Very good.
I will go back on YouTube.
All right. We'll put this. This will be like the teaser. I'll put this on Facebook tomorrow. Okay. Thanks for noticing that, Kavinia. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay. Now let's listen again, and I'm gonna just loop because as soon as you get the first note of beat 3 here, you're gonna know what the beat on B4 is, I think. So I'm gonna just loop that a few times, okay? And everybody go ahead and mute and sing along if you need to, if you don't have it yet. How you doing? Did you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Anybody
so.
not have it?
Yeah.
Everybody's got it? Okay. All right. What is it?
It's a flat 3.
Flat 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's listen to the whole 2-bar section and make sure we have everything. What happens here?
I don't understand if it's flat 6 or 6.
Yeah, flat 6. I think it's a 2-5 starting from flat 3.
Okay. Yeah, let's listen to it again. This is a little bit of a tricky one. It is a little bit tricky. I'm not sure if there's a secret. I guess the secret here is to really kind of learn to practice singing. One trick might be to figure out whether if it's a flat 6 or not. See if you can figure out whether it's diatonic or not. You know, so you can sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, 6, and then listen and see if it's 6 or flat 6. Here we go. So here's the note. What do you guys think? Is it diatonic or not diatonic?
Yeah, it sounds diatonic.
Da da da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Nice.
Diatonic or not
It's
diatonic?
like a perfect fourth below the flat 3.
Yeah, it's
I mean, above the flat 3, sorry. Like, not diatonic.
Not diatonic.
it's strange because when I hear it playing, I hear a 2/5, but now that you stopped, I was kind of stuck.
Okay, so here's the thing. You're hearing this, you're recognizing the sound of like a fourths movement, right? So if this
Yeah.
is flat 6, then we have, this is a fourth, right? If it's 6, then this is a fourth, right? They can't both be fourths. If we start with flat 3, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna sing the we're gonna sing. Let's sing up the scale from 1 to 6. Let's hear 1.
1,
1. Now sing up the scale to 6.
1,
1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4, 6.
Wow. Come on, let's try it again. We can do better than that. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6.
Flat 6.
Flat 6. Flat 3, flat 6, yeah. So I agree, it does sound like a 2-5-1 because this is a 2 and this is a 5, but this is definitely not a 1. We would need a flat 2 for that to be a 1, okay? This is one of the harder, the more difficult things I think is to, and I think part of it for me comes from experience, just kind of like knowing what would be logical to expect in these certain situations. I don't know if I have like good secrets to help you guys kind of figure out whether it is tritone or a perfect fourth. But the main one I suggest is this idea of like singing up the scale and finding the note you are expecting and then check it by holding it in your kind of like in your mind. If you can do it in your mind without actually singing it, it might help you. But otherwise you can do like we just did and just kind of like hold that note and then play and then see if you recognize it. Okay. So yeah, 1, flat 3, flat 6, 2. And then this is like a weird choice on the bass player's part. I think that's actually like a flat 7, dominant 7, sharp 11 chord. Because that's the only thing that I think really makes sense with the theme. Otherwise, it'd have to be like a 7, diminished major 7 chord. That makes sense because of the note in the melody. Everybody understand that? Okay, so
Yep.
we've spent a bunch of time on this now. Now what I want to do is let's figure out what happens in these next couple bars. And these aren't that hard. Actually, I think the rest of the A section is all pretty easily. This is the one that kind of makes things tricky. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? For me, this is the one that like because I know what that sounds like, I recognize it right away. But I think if this wasn't here, it probably would have been pretty easy for everybody to find everything else in the whole A section, basically, because there's almost nothing weird happening, except at the end of the first A. So what I want to do, let's listen to it. Like I'm going to loop the first A section a couple times, and I want you guys to listen to it, and then see if we can go through and just kind of like write out all the chords right away. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's talk about some of the more obvious things. What happens in this bar? Does everybody know what happens in this bar?
Guess so.
Yes.
Yeah?
I think so.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me what happens here.
2.
2? Then what?
4.
4 what?
4.
Minor.
Just 4. Minor.
Right? And then what?
Flat 7.
I think that's only base. Yeah.
So I don't think they don't necessarily, I'm not sure. I think sometimes they don't play the flat 7, but it's kind of there. That's the idea. And
I think
everybody
it's-
knows how this like 4 minor is kind of like the equivalent of having this become half diminished, right? Right, we've seen that a lot now. This is like coming up
How
all
it-
over the place.
How again is that like having it flat diminished? Sorry.
Excuse me?
How is it like having it become flat diminished?
No, it's like let's think about this, like if we're in C major, right? The 2 minor is going to be a D minor, right?
Mhm.
An F minor, which would be the 4 minor, is going to be kind of like a D half diminished. Make sense?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you have like the A
Yeah,
natural
okay,
moving to the
yeah.
A flat, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a useful kind of little thing. And it goes back to what we talk about all the time, the way you can substitute chords a third apart. If they have like, if they're sharing a lot of notes and the distance between the roots is a third, it's really common to actually be able to substitute them. Speaking of which, what happens in the next bar?
3.
3, everybody agree?
Yep.
Okay, so which would be potentially a substitute for 1, right? It's a 3 minor, right? Or not? Not sure?
I thought from 4 it was sort of dominant. I don't know.
You thought from where it's dominant?
From fourth degree was sort of dominant going down, like parallel movement.
You mean this, you think this 4 is a dominant?
I heard something some dominant sound. Maybe I'm confusing with the.
Okay, it could be. We'll listen to it again. I mean, that's also like an option that it could work logically here. I think I heard a minor 3. I think I heard, the thing that I was doing is a lot of times when I'm hearing this, I'll sing the 5th of the 2, and then I'll sing the flat 5, or like, which becomes the flat 3 of the 4. So I'm pretty sure that happens here. It definitely has that sound to me, but we'll listen to that again. I think you might have been hearing the flat 7 dominant. In any case, how about after the 3? What do we have after the 3?
Flat
It's
3.
gone by same
Flat
time.
3.
Flat 3, right. And what will we expect that? What kind of quality would we expect from that?
Dominant.
Probably dominant, right? Okay. So now let's talk about before here. What do we have in these couple bars? We have something like pretty obvious happening here, right?
The going down. Oh, is it? What do you mean from like bar 3 to 4? 4
I'm
to
talking about 4 to
like
5. In bar 4, what happens before the 2 minor?
3,
3 6.
3 6.
Yeah, everybody agree? Anybody have like an idea what qualities they are?
Dominant.
Dominant, what is dominant?
Minor and dominant.
Minor dominant. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you agree?
I mean, it sounds
Feeling
right.
Agree.
Everybody getting shy? Let's listen to it again. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So you're saying minor and then dominant. Okay. What about before the 3? What happens in the second half of this bar?
It goes down stepwise from the 6.
Okay. So what does that mean?
Yeah, 5 4.
5 4.
5 and then 4, right? Okay. And my assumption is that this is probably just like a bass movement and the chord is kind of staying the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to like kind of think of that like this, and then we'll kind of like check to make sure. All right. What I want you guys to listen to here now, let's listen to qualities. So Miki is the only one who had any opinions about this measure in terms of chord qualities, and everybody just kind of said, yeah, I guess so. So let's listen here, and I want you guys to figure out chord qualities, okay? Let's listen just kind of these couple bars, and also through here, because we can also pay attention and see if this actually is a 4 minor 7 or if it's a 4 dominant 7, which could potentially work. That could be like another option here, because it would be like the tritone substitution of the 5 of 3, okay? So let's listen to it from we'll listen to it from the beginning of the A section, then maybe I'll loop this section a couple times. Here we go. What do you guys think about this quality?
It's definitely half diminished.
Okay.
Sounds like yep, I agree. Does everybody agree?
Oh,
You guys want to hear that again?
yeah, I was only listening to the third.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. All right. So yeah, once we got the third down, then we have to figure out the fifth. I'm gonna play it a few times for you, and everybody kind of like see if you can figure it out for yourselves, and then I'll sing the both fives, both fifths, so you can hear like. That's the 5, flat 5, flat 5, just natural 5, 5, da 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 da. Okay, it's definitely a flat 5. Do you guys hear that?
yeah.
Okay. All right, let's listen. I want to focus in on this as well to see if we can figure out this kind of like minor or dominant. I'm gonna sing I'm gonna sing the 5 of 2, okay, the 5th of 2, and if this is not minor, then it'll sound fine if I hold that throughout the bar. If it is minor, then it's gonna sound funny when we get to the 4, okay? That was the 5 of 2, and then the flat 3 of 4. Okay, it sounds to me like this is definitely minor. What do you guys think? Do you hear it?
But I hear the
Yeah?
piano is
Okay.
playing the chord after. It's not just the bass. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I didn't understand what
the
you're saying.
flat 7 dominant after.
You the 4 minor. So you're hearing 4 minor 7 and flat 7
Yeah.
dominant. Yeah, I think so too. I had that written down in my part as well. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I hear this as well. Everybody agree? Let's listen to this 3 here and figure out what quality that is. here's 3. So we're going to expect a 3 minor, and then if this is dominant, it's going to be flat 3, third, da 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 da, 3 da, flat 3 da, 2 do, 4 5 da 1. Okay, let's listen from here on. What do you guys think? Is this dominant? I think the other option that I had in mind was maybe it could be minor 7.
I think it's minor, and then there is again, it's like 2-5 again.
Yeah, so like a flat 3 minor 7 and then like an A flat or a flat 6 dominant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is minor 7 and then like a flat 3, flat 6 dominant. Okay. And then this 2-5 is pretty obviously just like a 2 minor and a 5-7, and then we have, but we actually don't go to 1 the first time through, right? Let's listen to the last bar, because this is interesting. There's like a pretty nasty kind of like clash here in the last bar, and it's just because I think what we talked about, like the bass player and the piano player hadn't decided together what they were going to do there, and they ended up doing 2 different things, and it doesn't sound good. That's nasty. It's probably the least unhappiest moment of their recorded lives, potentially. Do you guys know what that is? Let's listen to let's just go through there and figure out what the bass is doing, okay? The bass has made like an interesting choice here, but it's definitely a risky choice, and it ends up kind of making life sad for the piano player. What's the first note?
3.
3, everybody agree?
3.
Yeah, and what chord, what we would expect that to be a 3 minor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we want to get back to 1, there's 4 movements in this bar, right? I mean, there's 4 like kind of changes in the bass note, right? What would be the most obvious way to get back to 1 be?
3 6 2 5.
Right, 3 6 2 5, right? And of course, we could also potentially substitute some of those with like tritone substitutions, right? If we wanted to do that, what would like an obvious option be?
3.
3, like flat 3, 2, 2 flat 2, for example, right? That would be an option, right? In that case, you'd have 3 minor, flat 3, dominant 7, 2 minor, and then flat 2, dominant 7, and then we back in 1, right? Do they do that?
No.
No. Do you guys know what they do?
I think so.
Me too.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us what you think they do? Well, I mean, I guess it sounds to me like there's actually, it's not like they do something, they do several things. Let's talk about what the bass player does.
I think he does 3 flat 3 flat 5 1
3 flat 3 what?
flat 6 5 1.
Okay. Other opinions? Do you guys agree, disagree?
I wrote 3 6 flat 6 5, but I'm not sure.
I can hear the flat 3. I give it the flat 3.
Okay. I think we're close. In my opinion, is not quite right, but we're kind of like in the neighborhood. Let's listen to it again a few times. Miki, you're pretty close, but you're not exactly right. Do you want to try again? No. Anybody else want to
No,
try?
I think I think it's right. I don't know.
You think it's right? Okay. I mean, it could be. It could be. It's there's like a I think you got the last one wrong. Go
I don't
ahead.
know.
Ma-
Oh.
Kavi, were you gonna say something?
No, if it was the last one that's wrong, then I'm here. I don't know why, because my ear just keeps on hearing like 3 flat 3 2 5. I don't know why. So
Listen to the way the bass resolves at from the last note to the first note of the second A section. That's what I hear. Da, da. Flat
Flat
2
two.
1. Here's what I think it is.
Hear it.
You don't hear it?
No, I can hear the flat 2.
And Kavinia, you said you were hearing like a 2-5, right?
No, I can hear the flat 2 now, but what comes before the flat 2 then? Like if it's 3 flat 3, then what comes before the flat 2?
Here's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. 3 flat 3 flat 6 flat 2 1 da 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 da. That's what I think it is. Let's listen again. Now that you guys have that in your heads, and see if you guys think I'm right. Again, I could be wrong. Shitty the piano sounds with those bass notes, or vice versa. I mean, you could also say that the bass sounds horrible with those piano notes. So let's think about this. Do you guys agree that I'm right or no? Do you still, Miki? You're welcome to have a different opinion. Do you hear what I'm hearing or no?
Yes, now I hear it.
Okay. Does anybody else disagree with me?
I still don't hear the flat 3, but I think it's my.
You know, the thing is, I almost don't hear the flat 3 myself. It's kind of like muddy sounding. I'm not sure if the bass player might not play it. I feel like the bass, I'm not totally sure. Let's listen to this again. This is a pretty like kind of little detailed analysis we're doing here of an execution. It definitely sounds to me like it didn't come out the way they had hoped. Let's listen to it again. I'm not totally sure if the bass player is actually playing the flat 3. I think the bass player doesn't actually play the flat 3. I think that kind of comes from the piano, but I might be wrong. It sounds to me like the bass player is just playing 3 flat 6 flat 2 1, and the piano player kind of puts in the flat 3. What do you guys think about that?
It's weird because I can hear the flat 3 like a lot.
Yeah,
I think that the bass plays the 3 because I have a theory that's an E, so it's like the lowest note possible on the open string.
Okay, so he doesn't actually play the flat 3.
I don't think so. I think I can hear like the register is at the lowest note possible on the bass.
Okay,
and I think he plays 3 3.
Yeah, that might be why it's not so easy to hear. So here's what I think. Let's listen to it a couple more times with that in mind. I think you might be right. I think the bass player doesn't actually play the flat 3, maybe for that reason. But I think he hears the piano player doing something. He thinks, oh, he's going to do like a bunch of tritone substitutions. So when he comes back in, he's kind of following this along, but the piano player is actually playing probably just like a 2-5. And in that case, we have like, if we're thinking of it in C major, the 2 of C major is going to be D minor, right? The flat 6, in this case, if it's a minor 7, is going to not have any of the same notes at all. It's going to have all wrong notes for D minor 7, okay? Or vice versa. Flat 2 would have a number of right notes, but depending on the voicing, it could sound pretty weird as well. So I think that's what happens. I think the bass player doesn't play this, but he hears the piano player doing like kind of like that kind of sound, and he says, okay, I'm going to lay out there. But then once he hears that, he thinks, okay, I know what we're going to do. We're going to do this fun like tritone substitution thing and follow it all the way around. And this is a much less common option, actually. You know, like put a flat 6 minor instead of a 2 minor. That's a lot less common, right? That's kind of like Monk would do that kind of thing and stuff. You do hear that occasionally, but it's less common. And anyway, it sounds really bad if they don't if they don't work it out ahead of time. So that's why it sounds pretty weird here. Let's listen to that once a couple more times. Okay. Everybody agree? We pretty much got the A section?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the B. Are we going to stay in 1 or are we modulating somewhere here for the B?
Modulating.
Modulating.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody not know where we're modulating to?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you do know.
I think I know.
Okay. How about everybody else? Does everybody know where we're going?
I think too.
Yeah. Cavinius, out of Jane, Simone? You guys want to hear it again, or are you ready to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah? All right. Let's do it. Where are we going? Where are we moving? Where are we modulating to?
I think it's 6, but major.
6 major? What do you guys think?
I agree.
Okay. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody agrees.
Mm.
Let's sing 1.
Flat 6.
Miki says flat 6.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking
Yeah.
flat 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I wrote it in a new one, like you were explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's far.
Okay. All right. So we have now. Some people think it's 6, and some people think it's flat 6. Is that right?
I agree with Mickey.
Okay. Does anybody think it's so? Is everybody's kind of like moving to Mickey's team? Does anybody still want Does anybody else think it is 6?
I've changed my mind to flat 6. It's right because I can
Mickey,
sing the.
You should like
third
run for
major.
president or something, everybody. Okay, so everybody thinks it's flat 6 now. Is that right? Let's listen to it really quick, and then we'll decide once and for all. What are you thinking? Flat 6 or 6?
Flat 6.
Everybody agrees. Okay, I agree.
Flat
Flat
6,
6. Okay. So I'm going to also, as well, I'm going to choose here to write this in a new 1. Okay, and I'm going to do it like this. Okay. How are we getting to flat 6?
I think it's good idea.
7, flat 3.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Miki.
I think it's good idea to use the new key from 1.
Yeah, because it's such a weird, it's otherwise we're gonna have to write a lot of weird like flat, you know, like we're gonna have to be putting flats on everything for the like kind of most of the B section if we don't do that. So how are we gonna get to flat 6?
2-5.
5 and flat
Yeah,
6,
2
right?
to 5.
Which if we're still in 1, because we are still in 1 on this line, what are we gonna call it?
Flat 2, flat. No, sorry.
1,
Flat 7.
7, 7.
Flat 4.
Flat 3.
That's it. Flat 3.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna call this a minor, and then we're gonna call this. I'm gonna usually when I do this, I'll write like the like kind of like I'll have like both languages on one line. You know, like this. So I'll have like this is like flat 3 or flat 7, flat 3, then flat 6, but flat 6 is the new 1, and I have like the new 1 here, and then we're gonna analyze based on this key. Okay. Let's listen to the bridge a couple times here. I think we'll be able to do this pretty fast. It's not too complicated. So let's listen to it a few times, then we'll go through and like work it out. Here we go. All right. I think the first row of the B section is mostly pretty simple. You guys mostly have that, or do you want to listen to it another time or two?
Just one more time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, even for me.
Okay. Yeah, all right. You guys want to listen to it a few more times? I mean, we can go through it a few more times if you want. How you doing?
Okay.
Okay, the first
Yeah.
two bars. Does everybody have the first two bars? Can we go through and do the first two bars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What are they? Go ahead.
It's 1625.
Everybody agree? Disagree?
Agree.
Okay. Qualities?
Six minor, I guess. Two minor and five dominant.
Okay. You feel pretty confident about that?
Yeah.
Okay. How about the second two bars? Does anybody not really know what happens here? Everybody knows. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about what happens in the second two bars.
I think
Three.
it's three,
Then
and then flat three, flat six.
Where is flat three, flat six?
On beat 3 and 4 of bar 3.
Okay. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree?
I'm not sure
Yeah.
about the flat 6. I think it's a 6.
I think
Okay.
it's a flat 6.
Does everybody agree about the 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have two options. We have, what were the two options? Flat 3, flat 6, or flat 3, 6? Is that right?
Yeah. The two options, yeah.
Or just 6? Oops. Let's talk about what happens in the next bar. Does everybody know what happens in the next bar? This bar here.
Yeah.
Does everybody know what happens or no?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Tell me what happens.
2, 5.
Everybody agree? Disagree?
Agree.
Agree?
Okay. So the 2, 5, what qualities do they have?
I think minor and dominant.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
agree. All right. So now what we have to do is we have to figure out whether we have a 6 or a flat 6 here, right? Let's listen to that again. Can you guys please sing the bass notes to me?
Da, da. So it's flat 6.
Okay. Does everybody get that? That was like pretty rapidly going through what I was trying to get at. Did everybody catch that? Da, da.
Yeah.
If we're going to actually go to 1, it would go da, 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 right? The alternative would be da, na, 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 da, da, na, da, da, right? That's a tritone. That would be like flat 3 to 6. That's like a tritone interval. So it sounds a little bit stranger. The fact that we can like stop these two and immediately know that that's like a 2, 5, and we can figure out how to resolve it to 1 makes it obvious to me that it's actually a 4th interval. So let's listen to just that bar again. The only thing that helps me to figure that out is memorizing the sound of this flat 6, which if I don't know whether it's a flat 6 or not yet, if I can memorize that sound and then figure out if this is a half step below it or not, I kind of skip. I don't listen to this chord. I try not to listen to that and just hear the movement of this root to this root. that's another way. That's another strategy I use to help me figure that out. I don't know if either of those are helpful to you or not. So, so if we have a 3, what is the quality of the 3 chord expected to be?
Minor.
Minor, right? And how about this? The 3 and the flat 3, flat 6.
I think it's like in bar 1 of A. It's minor 7 and dominant.
Agree. That's another like this is actually a really common kind of like tick of this like era of songwriting. Was these kind of like the more jazzy harmonizations. A lot of times they have these things where they actually just do like a quick like chromatic approach with like a 2/5, and they're almost always just like minor 7 and dominant 7. We talk about this in Round Midnight. There's an example of that. I think I don't remember if Misty might have something like that. This one definitely has it. So I agree with I don't know who said that, but I agree with that. Minor 7 and dominant 7, and then just a minor 2/5 or a minor 2 and a dominant 5. Okay. All right. So I'm going to listen to it from the beginning of the B section. Why don't you guys turn off your microphones and try to sing along the bass notes? And then when we get here, we're going to have to figure out what happens. How are we going to get back to 1? Okay. So we'll listen to it from the beginning of the B section. You guys want to hear that again, or you feel like you're pretty solid on what happens in the second half? Who wants to hear it again?
Can I ask you something, Dan?
Go ahead.
Would you work out the last bar of B in the original one? How would you?
I usually
how do you suggest?
Yeah, I usually, when I know where I'm going, I usually try to work backwards. I mean, as I say, like if I'm going to analyze the B section in flat 6, what I'll do is I'll kind of like, I'll do that until it makes sense to not analyze it in flat 6 anymore, you know? And if we modulate from flat 6 to like some chromatically distant key, then I'll actually use a new one if it's going to last for a while. If it's just like a bar, then I'll usually like use alterations on the chord symbols, you know? But yeah, what I would usually do is if I know we're going back to 1, then what I'll do is I'll analyze, you know, I'll have the 1 here, right? It's going to be like the last A. And then what I'll do is maybe I'll think about, like, I'll analyze backwards from the 1, and then above that, I'll write in the flat 6.
Okay.
You know, I'll decide where, like, that thing, because obviously I wrote, you know, when we did this, we had like flat 7, flat 3, and then flat 6. I could keep going with this. I could keep going with 2 rows, and sometimes I'll do that. That can be like a good exercise. And then you can just decide where it's convenient to stop thinking about the 2 different options, you know?
Okay.
But as you've seen in a lot of the parties, a lot of times the easiest thing for me to do in my kind of strategy for approaching this is to think, okay, I know that we have to get back to 1 here, unless it's a different 1, which it does happen sometimes, you know? Sometimes there is a modulation. So you have to check and make sure you're not wrong about that. But if I do feel like certain that this is the same 1, then I will like work backwards, you know, and then I'll see, sometimes that's actually, you know, like I've done a lot of transcriptions where maybe I can't figure out this movement. Like if it's going to, like, I don't know where it goes at the beginning of the beat. So I'll actually figure out how it gets back to the 1. And then working backwards, I'll go all the way back and think, oh, okay, now that makes sense. And then this thing makes sense, you know?
Okay, because at the moment I can't work it out in the flat 6. I can only think about it in the 1.
And that's fine. I think so. If you can work backwards, then you can probably find a logical way to connect those 2 together, and that is going to happen at some point in here where you're going to have to figure out a way to connect those together. Okay, but anyway, we are in flat 6 here, so you know we are kind of like starting here and we have to get here somehow. I'm just going to go ahead and give that away. I don't think it'd be hard for any of us to figure out that we're actually going to go back to the actual 1. in this case, it would probably sound, we would be more surprised if we didn't do that. You know, that does happen sometimes, but since we do have to get back to the actual one, you kind of know what's, you have like probably a strong idea of what to expect here. And then using that, you can start to kind of like tie the two ends together, you know? So, all right. So I'm
Oh
gonna,
wait,
I guess,
one thing I just wanted to, I
ahead.
think I can't, no, I can't read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like on the 6th bar, I'm still kind of like iffy about what's going on. Like, could I just hear it again?
Yeah, why don't we listen to the, what we'll do is we'll listen from the beginning of the bridge, and then I'll loop it from the beginning of the second half of the bridge a few times, so you guys can get a chance to check those things out and see how it gets back, okay? Okay. Everybody knows what happens in the first, in bar 5?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I think everybody knows this. What happens in bar 5?
Oh, 1, 6.
One, like a one major thing, right?
Yeah.
I didn't notice if it was a 6, but I
No,
guess I'll
no,
believe
no.
you.
1
So
and then a
it's 5.
6 is what I mean. Like 1 and then like 6.
Okay.
Oh no. It's like,
Okay. Everybody agree with Kavinia? She says 1, and then you say 6
Yeah.
here. I heard somebody say no.
No, I think it's the zone 1.
Yeah,
Other opinions?
I agree with that. I stay on 1.
I agree.
All right, let's listen to that bar. It looks like you're outnumbered.
okay,
Kavinia.
I might have imagined it.
Yeah, I think you imagined it. I think you heard actually what the bass player plays is the 5.
Yeah, but I think it's the bass player.
But I think that's just the bass player. Yeah, he's just killing time. He got bored, so he decided to put the 5 on there. Okay, so now let's listen Sada Jane, did you get this figured out, or do you are you still kind of like a little bit perplexed?
I haven't worked it out in the 6, in the flat 6.
Okay, but you know what? Did you work it out in the 1?
I think so.
Did you figure out how to connect the flat 6 to the 1 or no?
Well, yeah, I've got I've got bar 8 according to the 1.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's more of a question of just kind of like it's like doing like kind of basic exercises, like just learning how, and it might be more difficult if you don't have like a strong familiarity with an instrument that has like keys or something like that. I'm not sure if you like play a lot of piano or something like that, but for me, a lot of times when I'm thinking about these, especially if I have to, think about like being in flat 6 and 1 at the same time, I actually think about a key that's comfortable for me. So if if I decide to do this in F major, then I'll think, okay, the flat 6 of F major is going to be D flat major, and F major is going to be F major, obviously. So if I'm like in D flat major and I play the 2, then it's like I'll actually go back to using a specific key, but I could potentially do that in any key, right? And that's one thing where having instrumental knowledge is useful, because I know what it feels like to play those notes and what it would feel like to sing them as well.
Okay.
So, okay. So we now, everybody agrees that bar, like the bar 5 is just like a bar full of 1 major, right? Let's listen to bar 2. Let's listen and figure out what happens in bar 2. Where are we going in bar 2? Does anybody not know? Everybody knows. Nobody's confused about this. Okay, go ahead. Somebody tell me where we are in bar 2. Everybody knows, but everybody's being quiet about it.
Is it a 3?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it a 3?
I'm not sure. I'm confused between 4 and sharp 4.
4 and sharp 4. So we have 3, 4, and sharp 4. So we've eliminated like that's like 33% of possible notes, of all possible like chromatic notes. Anybody else have an opinion on this?
Can I throw in it like a 6? Because I can't hear it. I'm so about it.
This one is a little bit. It's a little bit weird. I think it's partly because it's slow, and partly maybe because it's not like it's an older recording. It's not super well recorded. So you said flat 6 or a 6?
A 6.
A 6. Okay. Any other opinions? All right. Let's listen again. The other thing that's making this tricky is the piano player is right down there playing like next to the bass notes. It's pretty dissonant sounding. So this might, between this and like Zoom's kind of compressing the audio and putting it in mono, it might be pretty difficult for you guys to hear. I think the second bass note of this bar is, or the beat 3 of this bar is pretty clear. Let's see if you guys can figure out what that is. By the way, it is one of the ones that was what we heard. You are not all wrong. One of you is correct. The others of you are wrong.
Is it a 3? I think I'm going back to say, I want to say this. It's a 3 now.
Okay, so now we have 2 votes for 3. Anybody? Well, let's listen to it another couple times. Okay, and see if you guys can figure out. Whoever is undecided yet, or if you listen to it again and see if you can figure it out and come to a consensus. change their minds or have a clear idea?
I'll change my mind again.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your new idea?
Is it like a 4?
Like a 4. Anybody else? This is.
I think I know.
You think you know? Okay. Why don't we do this? Just because it might be easier to hear. We're gonna listen to the second chorus and see if it's clear, because the bass note here is not. The bass note and the piano, they're playing like really close, so they kind of have this like clustery thing happening. And if you can't hear it really well, it's pretty hard to tell. So I'm gonna skip to the next chorus. Pretty clear. You guys should, I think you'll be able to figure it out from that if you haven't yet.
Yeah, I changed my mind again. Sarah Jane was right. It said 3.
What do you guys think? Everybody have a clear idea now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one trick that I haven't really gone over too much up till now, mostly because we've been listening to vocal arrangements. But a lot of times if there's like a really unclear spot, I'll just skip to another chorus, and sometimes then it's really clear. This, for example, was much more clear to me in this version than it was in the previous chorus, just because the way the piano voicing fell. So, all right. So what do you guys think? 3, 4, sharp 4?
I think it's 3.
3. Anybody disagree? Everybody agrees. Anybody not know? Everybody knows. Everybody knows it's 3. Good job. It's 3. What kind of a 3 is it?
Minor.
Minor. Okay. So if we're in flat 6 major, what's the 3 going to be?
1.
It's 1, right?
Yeah, it's major.
It's major. Okay. Let's listen again. Your 3 major, Sarah Jane. Da.
I hear it minor.
Yeah, me too.
That's minor.
Yeah, that's minor.
Da. Da 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 da. I hear it minor too. You hear it? Or are you unsure, Sarah Jane?
No, I agree. It's minor.
Okay.
I
Yeah. So
couldn't hear that.
we're expecting it to be a major, right? So that was like a logical thing for you to think about. But this is like a trick that they played on us. They made it a 3 minor, right? Okay. So now, and going back to our rule about thirds, 3, here we're moving like to the 3, but it's diatonic to this key instead of being diatonic to this key, right? But it kind of serves as this pivot. So we're in 3, which here it's minor, but eventually it's going to have to become our 1 major, right? So let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this section. I think you guys probably have all the information you need now to figure out like what the actual movement is, if you haven't figured it out yet. So. Okay. Does anybody think they have these 2 bars figured out?
Yeah.
I think.
Anybody else? You guys want to hear it? Does anybody want to hear it another time or two?
I'm not sure about the quality of the chord in the 7th bar, the first chord in the 7th bar.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we listen to it another couple times, and you guys go ahead and like mute yourselves and sing along, and try to figure it out. And yeah, we're gonna figure out. Remember, we have to get back here. There's a 1. Okay. I'll just loop it a few times and go ahead and sing as much as you want and figure out everybody try to figure out whatever phase you're at. If you haven't figured out what the chords are yet, figure those out. If you've already got the roots all down, figure out what the chord qualities are. Here we go. How we doing?
Great.
Anybody figured everything out?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah? Anybody still kind of stuck?
I'm not sure about the qualities of the chords, but I think I've got the roots.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and we'll start to move through. Let's go through the roots, then we'll talk about the qualities. What about this in this bar? Do we have anything else, or is it just 3 minor?
I think just 3 minor.
Yeah, me too. Only
Okay.
3.
3 minor. Okay. How about what about before? What about the end of, like, let's work backwards from the last A section. What do we have at the end of this? This last bar has 4 chords in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the last 2 chords?
In like 1 or in flat 6?
Either way.
Just 2, 5, and 1.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. We're gonna write 1. Okay. 2, 5. What kind of 2, 5? Opinions? We'll talk about that in a second. How about before the 2-5 in 1? Does everybody agree that's a 2-5 in 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we're writing that in flat 6, what would we write there?
Flat 7.
Ah, I see.
Flat 7 where?
Wait, shit. Hold on.
Yeah, this is one where I like
sorry.
experience.
No.
Think about the piano copy. Think about like actually playing a key on the piano.
I can't see the keys. I have to actually look at them.
Draw a little picture of piano keys on your paper.
Wait, so like the 6 is like what? Flat 6. Huh?
I don't know. You got to figure it out. I don't want to give you guys the answers.
Oh yeah. Wait. Wait, what we still waiting?
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
Oh, me.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sharp 4.
Sharp 4. What is sharp 4?
2.
2 is sharp 4. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
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 And then like 5 is 6. Like not 5. Oh wait, 7 is 7.
Okay. All right. And how about, and then, so what about the two chords before that?
So like flat 3, flat 6.
Yeah.
3, flat 6. Okay. And what about if we're analyzing those in like flat 6?
It's 6, 1,
5, 1.
5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1.
Okay. I agree. And what about the bar before that? This bar here.
Flat.
I think it's a 2-5 in the key of 1.
Okay. So we can move our 1 back to. This is what you think it is. Is that right?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I thought flat 2, flat 5.
Flat 2, flat 5. Flat 2, flat 5. Let's see. In the key of 1.
Mm.
Okay. Those are two very different things. Let's listen to this again. Does anybody else want to chime in on this? Have an opinion? Miki looks pretty disturbed right now.
No, I don't understand.
Okay, let's listen to it again. Let's listen to it again. Miki, I think it might
Yes,
be,
yes.
what do you think?
2, 5, definitely.
2-5? Okay. All right. Does everybody agree it's 2-5 here in the key of 1?
Oh, could you play it again? Sorry.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is 2-5 in the key of flat 6?
Sharp 4, 7.
Wow, Kavi, you make progress.
It's like
Okay, so now let's talk about qualities because I'm not sure how many of you figure out qualities here yet. We all agree that the 1 is major, right? That the 3 is minor?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody agree about that? Okay, so how about let's listen to these, like the last sequence of chords, okay? And I want everybody to mute your mics, and I want you guys to sing and try to figure out if we have minor chords or half diminished chords or dominant chords or whatever they happen to be, okay? Let's focus on just this bar here, okay? I'm gonna play it from here, and then I'm just gonna loop this bar a bunch of times, okay? And I want you guys to figure out, the first thing to figure out is whether this is like a minor or a half diminished chord. I think those are gonna be our most common options. The final option would be like a dominant chord, like a dominant 2, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and start here, and we're gonna just loop this bar a bunch of times, and you guys need to sing and figure out what kind of fifth it has. Here we go. Opinions? No opinions yet. I'm just gonna keep torturing you guys with this shit until you figure it out. Here we go.
So for me, it's minor. Yeah, it's minor.
Okay. Nicolo, can you sing us the arpeggio of that chord?
Ba, ba, no, I don't remember the.
You were started off right.
Da, 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 da.
That's right.
The whole arpeggio.
Yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise we can't tell if it's minor or half
Okay,
diminished.
okay. Do, 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 do,
Okay.
do, do.
Da, 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 da. So this is what we're listening for. Da. Okay. Da. Anybody else want to have an opinion on this?
Half the
we're
minute.
like done with that note.
What's that?
Think we're done with that sound.
So you have an opinion, Kavi?
Huh? About
Is it minor or is it half diminished?
I kind of like forgot what we're supposed to be looking for.
We're trying to figure out if this chord is half diminished or minor.
Oh, okay. It's just minor.
Okay.
Mm.
Is anybody not sure?
No, I'm hearing minor.
Okay. All right. I initially heard this as half diminished, but now I'm paying closer attention. I think that you guys are right, and I think it's minor. And I want you guys to listen. I'm gonna kind of point out there's a piano voice that makes it pretty clear to me. Listen carefully to the piano. I'm going to loop it a few times. I want you guys to pay attention to the piano. And I'm going to start to sing the voice that I hear that's making it make more sense to me. We're like compared to the sharp 4. Okay. Da, do, da, da. Do you guys hear that piano voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the minor. That's the perfect fifth. So you're right, and I was wrong. Okay. So then this is and then how about this next one? I think this is a dominant 7 sharp 11. Not sure if anybody else hears that.
Yeah, but he does the first like sharp 11 and then
he resolves it, right? What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then,
it's like there's like a kind of a movement, like that's an internal movement of the voices. But let's listen to that really quick for those of us that didn't hear it. Okay, how about these last these last 4 chords? You want to hear them again?
I'm thinking they're minor dominant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Generally, I would expect these to be minor dominant, because I think usually when they're doing this, they're actually, this kind of half-step root movement, they're actually looking for the most non-diatonic stuff possible. And the most non-diatonic stuff is going to be stuff that comes from like that are separated by a half step. So that would be the most logical answer for me. But let's listen to it just a little bit to see if we can figure it out for sure. Yeah, that's what I hear too. You guys all hear that? I definitely hear like a natural 5 on here. And I think I hear it here too. So I think we've got pretty much everything here figured out. Let's just listen to the last A section once to hear if anything changes. I want to listen to the last A section from the first chorus. You guys hear that? And you hear how the bass player lays out? Did you guys notice that? The bass player didn't play on 1, I think because he was not really sure maybe what to do to not get in the piano player's way. Or just he wanted to let that kind of like surprising melody note ring out. But it sounds to me like the piano actually, then they play the actual like 7/3. So here we also have something different, right? Did you guys hear that? Everybody getting pretty tired, huh? This is the last A section. So,
Yeah, I heard it.
yeah. Do you guys know what it is? It's not this. It's not flat 3, flat 6.
I think 4, 6. Oh.
So you're thinking 3, 4,
No.
6. Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't think that's what it is. Let's listen to it again. All right.
I changed my mind.
What do you think it is now?
I think it's just 6. No?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's 6, 3, 6. 3, 6, 3, 7. 3 to 1, 2, 3, 6. Da da. And then it does like a flat 3, 2, 3, 6. Flat 3, 2, 3, 6. Flat 3, 2. Listen to that. That's what the bass player does. It might be a flat 6, flat 3. I'm going to put that in as an option. Like as the I'm not sure what this is yet. I have to actually spend a little bit more time on this. Anyway, it's not flat 3, flat 6. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so here they do the 1, flat 3, 2, 5, 1. I just want to check once more to see if we can figure out exactly what this is here. And I think we're done. Yeah, okay. So the last time it goes 1, flat 3, 2, 5. Okay. Wow, these advanced ones are getting long, but I think we got it. You guys want to listen through once? I'm gonna listen through once. I want to make sure we got everything right. Anybody that wants to, you're welcome to sing along. Here you go. No, I think you might. I still think it might be. I'm not totally sure that the bass player is playing this, Miki. Might be, but I think it seems more realistic that he might be playing this, or that's what like they're thinking.
It could be that my ears, like hearing something.
I kind of hear that too. It's hard to tell because again, it's like pretty low down, and the piano and bass are kind of like mushed together a lot, so it's not super easy to tell. But anyway. I might have gotten the last two chords wrong, or the last bar. I feel like they might also again here be not agreeing exactly. I feel like the piano player is playing 1 flat 3 flat 6 5, and the bass player is playing 1 flat 3 2 5, which is like again not a huge difference, but it definitely sounds to me like they didn't really agree ahead of time what they're going to do, and they kind of figured it out on the fly. So anyway, I hope that was useful to you guys. What do you think about this method of listening to a lot of different versions as a start? Is that worthwhile, or is it better when we focus right in? I know everybody's probably kind of getting pretty tired by the time we were finishing up with this, but this was actually a kind of a tricky tune as well.
I liked it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
listening to
That's
several
cool.
versions. I think it's interesting because you can kind of it's maybe a useful way to get an idea of like how the general structure is laid out, rather than focusing in on one specific version too much. And then we already have like kind of an idea about what to listen for as we go through it. So, okay, maybe I'll keep that for the next party if we have. This is a nice one because also there's a ton of different versions. And it makes me curious to go, I would really suggest now that you guys have spent some time with it, maybe not now because you probably are all pretty tired, but maybe tomorrow or the day after, go and listen to some of those other versions and note down the differences, because I think it'll be probably pretty quick for you to figure out what they are doing. And this is another example, going back to like kind of the stuff that we talked about when we looked at My Shining Hour as well. It's just like another example of like a song that just like finds ways to like do kind of like 1 6 2 5 all over the place, you know? It's like all you have to learn how to do is to play standards is like write like 1 6 2 5, and then if you can find little tricks to avoid doing exactly that every time, then you can write a song, you know? So anyway, thanks for joining me. And for those of you that want to, we're going to be working on Smile on Thursday afternoon. Yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.